We're really lucky in D.C., and I'm sure people who live in other cities, whether it's Athens, Georgia, or L.A., all feel like they've got so many great young women. And in D.C., I am totally in awe of Susanna Welford. Susanna, as a young lawyer who had done some political work, was struck by the lack of women in political office. So she started WUFPAC, W-U-F-P-A-C, Women Under 40 PAC, a bipartisan effort to raise money to support women under 40 running for office. And she realized after a while, I'm speaking for her, I don't know if she'd tell the story the same way, that there weren't a lot of young women under 40 running for office. We needed to build a pipeline. So she started Running Start. And Running Start's mission is to inspire and train and motivate young women to run for office. And so if you're in high school or college, Running Start offers programs. There's a Young Women's Political Leadership workshop, a week-long program in Washington for high school girls from around the country, work on elevator pitches and campaigning, and they go back and they run for student government. And at the college level, Running Start works with the AAUW, University Women's Group, and has Elect Her. These are two-day workshops on, I think now it's up to almost 50 college campuses around the country. And some of the women attending those workshops are running for college student government. And you know, Hillary Clinton was her student body president. So it's a good place to start. A young woman I just met recently is Allison Carpenter. And I met her in person, but I teach graduate journalism at Georgetown and taught a class on interviewing, and one of my students had interviewed her. So when I met Allison, I said, I remember one of my students interviewed you because you had just won election to the Advisory Neighborhood Councils, ANC, in Washington. And she's somebody who had been through one of the Running Start programs. So it was really exciting to see this young woman of color now holding elected office, and I think will one day be in Congress, although she might have to leave D.C. unless D.C. gets full representation. And another young woman, again speaking, in the world of politics in D.C., Ashley Spillane became the head just about a year ago of Rock the Vote, which had started in the 90s and really did a great job of getting younger people out, registered and voting. And she is doing great work revitalizing the organization. But I think about over the years in Washington, the women I've met doing such a range of interesting work. Those in politics, like Tina Chen, the First Lady's Chief of Staff, an amazing woman. Those in elective office, like Senator Gillibrand, and Congresswoman Kathy McMorris Rogers, who holds the most senior position among House Republican women. Both Republican and Democratic women. And what's really cool is when you hear how the women in Congress on both sides of the aisle, how they network and support each other. That's really inspiring.